Boom.
Not even a face a mother could love.
No bueno. No bueno.
Welcome back. Monday. Some shenanigans and strategy.
Today's topic, if you are happen to catch this replay, I'll tell you within the first 30 seconds. This training is all about melting stress with monthly recurring revenue, with all different kinds of offers, whether it's an affiliate offer, whether you build your own, continuity, subscriptions, softwares, like it does not matter. But that's what this whole training is about. So if you're live with us, drop us a hashtag live, chime in the comments, and do me a favor. Take that beautiful thumb of yours and smash the heart button on this live. That way it gets pushed out and seen. Highly appreciate some hearts on this unit. Simply hitting the heart button and dropping comments actually helps this get seen by more people in the group. So you're doing everyone a huge service by doing that. See, we got Eddie, Will, and a handful of Facebook users. Top of the evening. It's 12:06 on a beautiful Monday. We just got 4 inches of rain, so I'm currently floating right now. Hell yeah. Bless you, my good sir.
I mean, at least I had it muted, right?
3 wise men gifts, gold, Frankenstein, and MRR. Amen to that. Natasha, good to see you. We'll give everybody a hot minute to come in. We got 1.8. Yeah, we got a lot of rain yesterday. It was absolutely ridiculous.
That's all I got as well. But we're not going to talk
Jess. Yes, unfortunately, Shelly, you are coming up as a Facebook user. Julio.
Miss Jess, hope the baby's feeling better.
Yeah, seen that. What's up, James? Good to see y'all. I know some of y'all might be confused because like y'all have been getting us Monday and Tuesday, you know.
Definitely next week we're resuming regular programming. Calls are back to Tuesdays at 12 p.m. EST. These are just some bonus trainings that we ran. Full transparency, we've been pulling on a lot of the resources and the assets that we've kind of already created for our core clients, which I'm excited to bring you guys today because we are talking about obviously melting stress with monthly recurring revenue. And I think we did a training very specific to this for our core clients in August, the beginning of August. Me pretending like I don't know. I literally did the training yesterday, so I do know. What's the beginning of August?
What you can do really quick is if you're on, your phone or desktop, laptop, whatever, there should be a blue StreamYard link above this live. You should be able to click that. It'll take you into StreamYard, and then you grant permission for StreamYard to show your name, and then we can see your name, and then you can just simply come back to the live. That's about as simple as it gets. Something
might
else
not
really
work though.
Might not work. It's been a pain. Yeah. Just a quick question. I see a lot of you are OGs here in Group Juice, but how many of you are currently on a payment plan for something? It might be, being here with us in Group Juice, or it might be something else that you're currently paying for. Might be a software, might be a tool, might be a Chrome extension. But how many of you are paying some kind of monthly subscription to something? Like just put a 1 in the comments if you're currently paying some kind of monthly subscription.
I mean, everybody
should be.
Netflix, insurance.
Yeah, like something. Doesn't have to be business related. Should be about everyone. I did an example of Netflix, which they make about $950 million a month off of the monthly users for Netflix. Think about that for a second. $950 million per month. Yes.
Rent.
Technically, yes. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to be covering today, it's going to be, if you haven't noticed, Nate and I tend to go a bit deeper into the trainings that we bring everywhere, whether it's inside of core, whether it's here inside of Group Juice, or wherever it might be. We tend to go deeper than a lot of stuff that I've seen, and it's because we want everyone to understand not only why it works, but how it works, and it's much easier to deploy once you understand something better. So we're gonna go deep into it today. Hopefully, everybody's cool with that.
If you hit the text above the video and you go see more, it might not show up on mobile. There should be a link at the bottom that says there's like a little StreamYard link, but that's how you kind of grant permission. But sometimes it doesn't work with Facebook anyway. So
yeah, yep. Dean, what's up, Cass? Craig, sweet. So, not to keep you guys waiting any further, we were just trying to make sure we gave everyone ample time to jump in so they could be live with us. But we'll try and run through this. We'll do a Q&A at the end. So if you do have questions, feel free to drop them or write them down so you can bring them back to us at the end. Technically, it shouldn't take us that long, but we are some long-winded sons of bitches because we like going into detail and depth, as I just stated. So rock with us for a little bit, and we'll get ready to dive in.
So obviously today, melting stress with MRR, monthly recurring revenue. Now, this model has specifically taken off like wildfire the last few months. And that's partly because, some of the biggest marketing events of the year or like, in the entire world were all about building continuity. And we've been bullish on recurring revenue for the last 2 years, right? Probably a little bit longer at this point. And a lot of you guys, if you look deeper, you'll see this, right? We've prioritized payment plans for Group Juice. We've ran, all sorts of different payment plan offers. So it's not necessarily something new, but I do think it's a good time to talk about this because this is a very prevalent thing in the market right now. Everybody, I mean, there's people literally burning down their entire businesses so they can start mentorships, start recurring revenue based businesses. And I think there's a time and a place for both, right? You kind of have to have a good melting pot of recurring elements and then obviously higher ticket elements, more premium price products. And you can do this without having your own offers, which is what we're going to talk about today. But we've been actively prioritizing this for 2 years at this point with all of our offers. If you guys look at like the Group Juice payment plan or the zero interest payment plan we just did, this is exactly what we're doing. We're trying to stack monthly recurring, which we've got up to, multiple 5 figures a month at this point. Just have continued to grow it over the last few years. So that's the agenda for today. So as I mentioned earlier, giving you a snapshot of a training that we ran for our core clients in August, just like the ones we run every week, right? We kind of do this same thing every Thursday for our core peeps, but figured we would kind of break it down for you guys today as a bonus. 3 different buckets of building monthly recurring revenue. So we wanted to kind of tackle 3 different elements to stacking a recurring revenue stream. One is affiliate payment plans. Like as a lot of you guys have probably already have or done, or look at how some of you guys are already on payment plans for affiliate products. This is a very powerful way for you to come in as someone who's fairly new and start building a recurring revenue stream, right? So post-purchase relationships are going to be massive in this area. Naturally, affiliate payment plans have less retention. And the reason for this on a deeper level is like, let's say, Jess goes and sells, affiliate product X to somebody, and that person doesn't necessarily like the creators of the affiliate product, right? There's going to be less connection between the customer and the creator of the product. So if you guys are doing like affiliate payment plans and that's kind of your jam for now, you're going to have to go heavy on the post-purchase relationships. With a lot of the people we work with, the one thing that we encourage them to do if they're doing this is prioritizing their own buyers support system and their own structure, because it will take the retention through the roof. Um, as I mentioned here, and the reality is like, it's not, don't be scared of the affiliate payment plans because I'm saying that the retention is smaller. That's the name of the game, right? That's one thing to think about with any type of continuity or monthly recurring revenue streams. It's not always guaranteed. There will be some people that fall off or don't actually go through with all of the payment plan, but I think the positive by far outweighs the negatives.
Yeah. And something else to pay attention to is this is where your community comes into play. If you're building your own community, which you're in group juice, so you definitely should be, you can build relationships with people at scale. Like if I'm posting every day and certain subsections of my group are reading my content and paying attention, then they're getting to know me through my content. And I apologize for my pit bull sound like he's fucking dying over here. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. But community and culture, this is where the retention is helped out a whole lot. Most people overlook it. This is another reason why we're big on community and culture. Okay. Now the next part is fairly simple to kind of launch or get rolling on the low ticket side. Low ticket, continuity, membership style. It definitely needs to be value packed with a couple of different things in mind. One, it becomes something that they actually need to operate their business. Think about like software, funnels, Chrome extensions. Folks can't leave without a huge hassle, right? Elemental of game, something like gamified the way our school community is, something to keep folks active and wanting to show up, wanting to be engaging, wanting to be active. Engulfed in the mentorship, think like dripping trainings or dropping X once a month, new, fresh strategies, prize, or incentives. Okay. Now, I want all of y'all to think about this on a deeper level. Is what's something that you're really good at that you could teach other people, whether it's like a product itself or a service. So I've mentioned this a few times, but I know of a bunch of people on TikTok. They sell a monthly subscription for them to share the most viral sounds and trending sounds and trends overall. And people pay, I think I've seen one for $7 a month. I saw another one for like 15, where those people were just sending the exact same trending sounds, trends as a whole, and viral messaging and whatnot as a service. Like every month I'll send you the most up-to-date viral sounds that are being pushed out the most so you can increase your views, etc. And they charge for it. So simple, right? So there's so many different ways you can tackle the low ticket side of things. Next, which is one of our favorites, which there's a lot of controversy around, which is high ticket continuity. There was a very large or successful creator, whatever you want to call it, that said high ticket continuity isn't possible. And we had been doing it for like a year and a half at that point, and we kind of called them on it, and it was a beautiful debate. But here you usually need some type of relationship built or already there prior to making an offer around high ticket continuity. This is what our core accelerator program has been built around. Some folks do the upfront full pay, and they're good for the 6 to 12 months. Other folks will tend to, take the monthly payment. But the cool thing about this one is you don't need a whole shit ton of folks in order to, one, have a big impact, two, have a pretty big recurring revenue, right? You can do this in a couple different ways, and whatever fits you and makes you the most comfortable is how you can go about it. So one, on the back end of an affiliate program, you actually can do that. You buy product X, and that gets that person X amount of time in your back end coaching or your support. Call it a buyer's group, call it a support group, but where you have a sole goal to help them do something very specific. All right. Getting them to pay a month of retainer after the time is up makes it much easier if you can help them with a specific result for the time that they pay for initially. Right. So if you got any questions around that, we'll definitely come back to it. Number 2, it can be a standalone offer, right? Like me and Nate both did this in the beginning before we were ever partners. We had our own coaching program. We were starting. At first, we did it off the back of high ticket affiliate programs or whatever offer we had at the time. But then we got to where we were charging, $1,500 up front for X amount of time to do specific result, right? Now, you might be saying, how do I do this? Or why is it extremely powerful? Why should I do it? It really stacks the residual income. All right, it can pull in huge revenue, which is great and all. But what that really does is allows you to operate from a completely different place. So just think 20 people in a year at $1,000 a month, you're multi 6 figures that year in the business, 200 grand, right? Now, you can also do it on a smaller scale, which there's nothing wrong with. It's still really, really good income. Thinking 150 to 300 per month, you can stack enough to replace your job's income. But here's where people fail. They aren't willing to put in the 3 to 6 months of focus to get it there. Like, I did it for 30 days, not there. Next thing, shiny object syndrome kicks in and they fuck themselves and they start over with the next new thing. Hate to say it, but had to say it. All right. But the biggest, most crazy thing that we like the most about it is it literally changes the entire way you move in your business. You're not starting each month at 0. You're not stressed out about getting more sales, because if you say you put 60 days into selling something that, each time it stacks your monthly. So the first 30 to 60 days, you get it to where it's $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That next month, you're not starting at 0. You're starting at $1,500 to $2,000 a month. And you do that again. Where are you at? Then you're at $35,000 to $4,000 a month. This is how it keeps climbing. And if you do that for 6 months, you will replace your job's income. And then you have an option. Do I keep building it like this and build more of a cushion? Do I leave my job and go full time? That's what can happen in that 6 to 12 months. All right. Something to think about.
And the flywheel effect of it is like, you can be more selective with who you're selling products to when you have recurring revenue coming in. Meaning you don't have to sell to everybody just because they have money, right? You can be more selective with products being an actual good fit for the person. And then the effect of that is your marketing gets better because you start selling products to better people. They start implementing the information you're giving them. And it just kind of has like a lot of really cool side effects when you put a emphasis on this. However you spin it, right? Right. You can do, as Flip mentioned, right? You can do it with affiliate products, low ticket continuity, high ticket continuity. The thing I will say about high ticket continuities, you'll probably need some type of clout or results prior, right? You're going to need some type of actual results. Like if you look at our business, we didn't really launch a high ticket continuity program until we were already a couple years in the scene. We already made multi 6 figures online. And that's not to say you couldn't do this earlier on, but I think there has to be a justification as far as like someone forking out 5, 6, $1,000 or $1,000 a month to work with you. And the pricing of your coaching and stuff like that, or your memberships will scale with your results, right? I remember the first coaching offer that I ever sold was $1,000 for 12 weeks, and we did weekly Zoom calls, right? Now it's $1,000 a month, right? You want to get on a call with me and Flip, it's usually $1,000. So, just something to keep in mind, right? Your prices will scale as your results scale, right? There's that weird paradox in online business is like the earlier stages of business, you're usually doing more work for less pay, and then as you get bigger and bigger, it's usually more leveraged, less work, more pay, if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
It makes detaching from sales a real thing, right? We talk about this all the time. Like, you don't want to show up as the needy person in your content, like, hey, buy my things right now, because if you don't, Santa's not coming or whatever. Content creation and daily options in your business become more enjoyable and easier because you don't actually need sales. Right? This is a very big thing, right? This will change everything about your business. It makes actually talking to people and how you're actually trying to convert clients way easier, because you're not operating from a, hey, I need you to buy my product right now, otherwise, my lights are going to get shut off. Right? It's an extreme example, but even if you enrolled 10 people into a private support group where you did Q&As for $100 per month, you add 10 people in there, that's an extra $1,000 a month. 12 people, 12,000 per year, answering questions, providing a couple hours a week in support. Right? Like, a good real-time example of this is that everybody in here could probably go launch a buyer's group very similar to the way that Group Juice is structured and charge $100 a month for it. 10 people, that's $1,000 a month. 20 people, that's $2,000 a month. Right? Your goal is $5,000. That means in the entire year, you need to find 50 people that want to be a part of your group. When you break it down, I mean, you can spend the entire year trying to find 50 people. It's not very many people.
And I will bet money, if you implemented and followed the Group Juice strategy, it wouldn't take you an entire year to find 50 people. I will bet money on it. All right. So keep that in mind. Does that not make sense to you guys? If it doesn't, please let us go into Q&A at the end and we jive on it. But this is one of the very things that we help folks with inside of Core. Like, help walk you all the way through it. Okay. Continuity structures and the components behind it. This is another area people overthink, and it stresses them out. So let's try and break down some things so you can easily wrap your head around it. Higher ticket, $500 to $2,000 a month. Now, some of you might be thinking that's crazy. Who the hell pays $2,000 a month? I know folks who pay $10,000 a month. Right?
Pay for.
Yeah, there you go. So the thing is, there are environments and levels and ceilings that you have no idea exist in this industry. But the longer you are in it, the easier it's going to be for you to normalize these things once you start seeing it, because you're in the rooms where it happens. All right, this was a big deal for me. Now, crazy enough, what people pay for is support chats, group messenger chat, Slack threads, private community for personalized feedback. Like this morning, I just looked over some content for some of our clients, and I provided them details and edits to make around their copywriting. All right, that's something that they pay for. Okay, so offer, content, conversation, review, those types of things. One-to-one support, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly. Different stages, might be kickoff, middle, end. Group coaching calls, Zoom, more personalized. Structured trainings. We build a catalog of assets you have to pull on. And some of you have gotten some of the core trainings based on the last couple little offers that we ran to the public. Right? So you get a bird's eye view of what it's like to be in core. That's the shit that we do every single week. Right? Now, on the next one, you've got lower ticket. This can be $50 to $500 per month. Support groups for questions, review, overall support, Q&A structure, weekly lives. It could be you dropping them things that, has helped you, or could be like shit like that. Just where you support them in what it is that they're trying to do. The more specific you can go around a result or a topic, the easier it's going to be for you to sell. All right. For like a lower ticket, one-to-one, not as much like tied to your time per se, because if you're pumping more volume into it, you want to make sure that it's leveraged. You don't want to be doing 100 fucking Zoom calls every month, because you got so many people and they're paying such a low price. You don't want to do that. Don't ask me how Nate and I know. All right. Make sure it's leveraged as possible. Doesn't require more work on your part. Okay. Example, doesn't matter who buys Group Juice. All the support and weekly calls is something we're already doing. It does not change our workload. Right? We actually just get to serve more people in a very, very leveraged way. like hence this extra bonus training that you're getting. And we'll still be live tomorrow to handle any questions, strategy, anything that anyone needs help with, versus letting people into our coaching and it's our time that is directly tied to helping them individually. This is why it's never no more than 30 folks inside a core. It's 30 or less. That's because we give a lot of our time. Okay.
It's a big one to think about too. This is the other compelling angles you guys can use as far as like sales angles for your offers or in your content is, I think that the thing to think about is people will eventually want more proximity, and that's a very compelling angle that you guys can eventually pull on. Now let's talk about like feeding the offer, high ticket, getting clarity on the ascension process, and this is kind of, you know, our perspective on we're the anti no upsells ever. I don't think upsells are a bad thing when you do them correctly. Now I'm not saying go into launching things or creating things in the peer perspective of, hey, I want to just ascend people. I think, as I mentioned in I think it was like the YouTube video I did about our community conversion process. I think ascension becomes a very easy process when you make it a point to give as much as possible on the front. Right. And to flip that onto its head is, if you can come in and you can get somebody a lot of results with your initial thing, it makes ascension extremely easy. They've already built proof of concept in what you're giving them. They've already built proof of concept. So good real-time examples is like, this is our kind of flow. We don't really sell juice box. This would be cash curriculums now. To group juice to core accelerator, right? And the reason we structure it this way is we want to actually see if they're good fits for this. Right? As Flip mentioned, we personally help people. We dig into their business, and it requires a bit of our time, right? So we don't want everybody in there. We don't want 7,000 people in a very impersonalized coaching program, but you got to get clear on the main feeder for your continuity program. Now, if you're running like a low ticket subscription, that's not really a thing, right? So we could do this, right? Cash. Right. So this kind of is an example of that too, right? If we have cash curriculums, which is a subscription, a monthly subscription, which builds recurring revenue streams, it can still feed the other offers, group juice payment plans, or accelerator, monthly recurring, right? So all of our offers have some form of element of recurring revenue streams. Apparently, I like, went back to 5 years old because I'm just like obsessed with drawing on docs nowadays. But whatever. Pushing people through layers before having access to your coaching will ensure they're good candidates to work with you long term. Have what you're looking for as an ideal client. This is a big one. This is a very big thing. Become even more sold on you as a brand owner. Moving people into your back end coaching who've already gotten an X result with you based on something. It's very low pressure. And a couple prongs to that that'll help them get the results with what you're teaching relatively quickly, making them have them stick with you for a long time more likely, / having some requirements for your coaching. So an example of this for a long time, and it still is pretty good rule of thumb for us is like, the main ascension process was like people would come into group juice, they would get, they would grow their group by 1,000 people, they would make their first $10,000, and then we would shoot them an invite to Core Accelerator. And the reason we do that is because they can take the self-paced information and they've already accomplished some type of results. It makes them coming into coaching a lot more likely of them to get success because we're not just piling on more information. We're enhancing what they've already just did. And you're kind of using it as a filtration process, right? It's not necessarily everybody in group juice gets an invite, right? So I'm kind of trying to break down real examples that we use in our own business so you guys can get a visual representation of this. But it's very low pressure, right? I've literally started messages to people who come join Core and come hang out in our coaching program that have been with us for 12 plus months that were like, hey, I'm going to have to twist your arm to come buy Core Accelerator. and they're like, I'm ready to buy. That's a very different sales process versus, you know, high pressure and like coercing somebody to buy a product because, you know, you need the sales.
Yep.
X number of followers, X numbers of group members, X numbers of amount earned online. So this is another example of like a requirement that you guys could do. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because with your coaching, you kind of want to have some barriers in place. You want to have some things that the clients need to have done first, right? And this will get more and more prevalent as the more and more success you guys have, the bigger and bigger you guys get. You're going to want to have some barriers, right? Because, for example, if we dumped some brand new beginner into Core Accelerator, it would probably be not the best experience for the customer. It's going to be extremely overwhelming, right? There's so much information, and the reality is we're probably talking about things that are still foreign to them, right? So we want to make sure that we put things right. So, like if you're running a coaching offer of your own on the back end of an affiliate product, or you launch your own coaching offer for 5 people, you want to put some actual things, right? Hey, this person already needs to be creating content daily for the last 6 months, right? Because it's going to be infinitely harder to help somebody that has not done anything online than to help somebody optimize kind of what they're already doing, if that makes sense. And these can change. These don't have to be set in stone. It could be different for each offer, different for each thing that you end up doing. And as I mentioned, right, like with a low ticket continuity, it's not as prevalent, right? This is more of like a more intimate scenario.
Yep.
Right. This will ensure you're feeding your high touch program with can't speak. This will ensure you're feeding high touch coaching program with quality people that are actually ready to do the work, that are actually going to get results faster, which then in turn makes your marketing easier, right?
Yeah.
Like when you actually end up selling to the right people and they come in and they do the work, they are already running businesses, it makes your marketing better and it makes everything about the business you're actually running better because you're not having to worry about, you know, babysitting people in your coaching program.
Right. This could like look pretty simple for a lot of you. Like the model itself. And if you notice, if someone finds Group Juice as their first place, then they quickly realize like, oh, well, there's so many different things I could do. I've got so many different options. Just the information alone puts you at a level of being able to sell like information as a service or as a product. All right. So some folks come into Group Juice have already got something they want to sell, but they just haven't been able to sell it, and they want to sell it, more volume, smoother, without like a lot of the shit that most people hate when it comes to sales, marketing, tech, etc. So it might look like affiliate sale on X, and that gets them into your own little support system where you're helping them with something very specific. And then if you don't have an ascension plan, it's totally fine. But eventually you will want some kind of ascension plan to where you can work with X person, much more closely to help them get bigger results. Might not be with 1 or 2 people a month that you help, right? But it could be, getting them to the next thing that you have to offer or the next problem that you want to help them solve, right? Like keep it as simple as possible. So like feeding the offer, lower ticket. Now you can be less strict on, most of the stuff you're doing inside, especially if it's leveraged. It won't require you to link your one-to-one time. All right. So literally a beautiful thing. An effective way to do this shit. Stack your medium ticket buyers into your support system, continuity, on a trial basis. Right. We've helped a lot of folks test this little strategy, and it's worked out pretty well. But do shorter time periods to make sure both parties are a match. Like that's for your own protection and theirs. Okay. Sell like standalone spots for those who are not looking to get into another high ticket program. Okay. Like there's so many angles you can attack this from to where you can still be ethical and a good human. All right. This is what we're technically doing. with school, low ticket monthly recurring subscription, which is basically just, it becomes a breeding ground for our strategy and concepts. We literally get to brain dump and share how we think and how we operate with folks inside of there, and they fucking love it. If you're in school and you love what we share in there, put a hell yeah in the comments. They got the opportunity to see what we do more behind the scenes, and it also helps with them knowing if they want to work a little closer with us or not. All right, because it makes the opportunity there. It also filters folks through a low ticket commitment. We get to see how serious they are. We're getting paid to make offers. We're getting paid to share our thoughts, and people get a lot of value from it. Right. So like based on the price versus what they get, it's night and day, and everybody loves that. Okay. So if you look at it that way, the overlooked power behind it, like beyond pay, right, is the asset creation. When you end up doing this, over a longer period of time, I don't know how many times y'all have heard us say, hey, just play longer and you'll beat everyone else. You'll start building a bigger pool of assets that you can sell anytime you want. We've been giving you guys real-time examples of this over the last few months. If you've been running calls on topics, or you've been doing lives on X topics, for weeks or months or even a year now, you can sell each individual training, as an individual offer that'll help solve specific problems. Package it into a complete program. All right. Would advise doing it intentionally if planning this, though. You have a portfolio of assets you can pull on whenever you want. Anytime you see something in the market that needs what you have just sitting, you can run, small campaigns on it. This will allow you to step away from your business even further because you've got so much to pull on. Options. Instead of having to individually answer questions over and over again, you'll literally have like a plethora of things that will allow you to direct your clients that need it. Like literally. It's like, oh, you're at this place, you're having this problem. I got this. Go through this. Let me know if you got any questions, and we'll help you, deploy it. But here's the solution, right?
And this is exactly how like Group Juice came to be, right? We were both running buyer support systems off the back end of affiliate products. We were running our own coaching programs. If somebody bought high ticket product X, then we would give them, 90 days of coaching, where then we were running trainings of our own. And then we kind of stumbled into the strategy that would then become Group Juice, which then turned into an evergreen offer, which has now built recurring revenue streams. And it kind of all just ends up feeding the business. So that's kind of all we have on the dock as far as today. A couple quick action steps for some of the people in here watching would be like, whether you're selling an affiliate product, you have your own services, products, etc. Having some type of buyers community in place is probably going to be the most important element to all of it, right? And This is going to give you guys the ability to tap into all of these, right? Whether it's stacking a buyers group that's, $25 a month, or, dumping everybody into a buyers group when they buy your high ticket product, and then working with them and delivering your own support systems and structures. And then you'll get the ability to ascend people into other offers, right? The story that I reference all the time is I have somebody who bought $100 affiliate product from me, and then I put her into a group, and she's been in our coaching for 2 years. Right? She's paid us retainers for 2 years because the post-purchase relationship was prioritized.
Yep. So that was, a chunk of information. So y'all might have to go back through and, look at it again, which you can do that because it'll live in Group Juice. But now we'll open it up for, Q&A for you guys around anything we covered. I'll pull up James' comment first. So I'm in the health and wellness space, and I don't see a lot of high ticket opportunities. I'm curious if it's really possible to make 6 figures a year by offering low ticket offers. So I will say yes, absolutely. Now, it might take you a little longer if all you're selling is lower ticket. But if you're in the health and wellness, like, let's go a bit more specific, like what exactly it is that you're selling that would be low ticket and would have like an opportunity for a higher ticket, thing to be bought. But if you look at Netflix is only $15 a month. and it makes $950 million a month. Now, it's not health and wellness. It's actually worse than health and wellness because it's fucking TV, right? But look at the convenience of what Netflix brings to its users. It's got literally damn near anything and everything you'd ever want to watch, between movies, animated cartoons, series, etc. People pay for that every single month like clockwork. So all you've got to do is find like a void that you can fill with whatever it is that you're selling. And you don't need that many high ticket things. If you've got something that's low ticket, but a lot of people fucking need it, then all you have to do is feed it. Right. So just do the math on what it is you sell as low ticket. And I guarantee you there's going to be something that you can sell that's higher ticket that will help the person based on your lower ticket. Like, it's just, you've got to find the gap and you've got to be able to fill it. It's literally, as simple as that. But I would say, yes, you can definitely get it to 6 figures a year, even if it's just lower ticket offers, especially if it's subscription.
It'd be relatively easy if it had some type of subscription element into it, if I'm being honest. If you guys look at like cash curriculums, we added an extra $30,000 a year raise in 10 days off a $33 product. Right. And that was like in a couple weeks of talking about it. So, I mean, obviously, if we focused on that for a longer period of time, you would take that $33 a month thing and turn it into a 6-figure income. And as Flip mentioned, there is high ticket opportunities. You just might have to create them yourself. Right? You might have to get clear on what the Ascension game plan is. But yeah, you can get it like, as Julio mentions, is like, if it's a low ticket thing, you'll need more volume, but it's definitely not it's not a thing that's really like out of question, right? You could 100% do it, right? And I think, like, there's so many different ways to look at this too. Is like, if you, let's say you launched a low ticket subscription for $50 a month, you got 100 people in that. That's what, that's a big number, right? That's $5,000 a month in recurring revenue streams. That's 50K a year, or a little bit more. What, 60,000, and then you had $1,000 like one-on-one coaching offer around health and wellness, weight loss, diets, etc. And then you start pulling, what, an extra 10 people a year or something. It's like, then you just have this 6-figure business where it started with this low ticket thing. But then you started sending people into more premium priced products. Or the even other side of that spectrum is you start doing longer time horizons. Like, let's say you run this subscription, and instead of doing the $33 a month, you do, 2-year payments up front, 1-year payment up front, right? Then now you have this $33 thing that turned into, $500 offer.
Yep. Cass, pull that up. We didn't do a payment plan on Juicebox because it was already cheap as fuck. But what we did do in the beginning when we first launched, it was $50. But we never did 100. We never did a payment plan for $100. Not saying that you couldn't. You could easily. That's more of like why we wanted to share a deeper thought behind everything that we do, which is why we started the school community, for $33 a month. So like, we're always dropping new stuff in there. We got, stuff planned to be dropped in there coming into the new year and all that good stuff. So you definitely could. I mean, the worst thing you can do is test it and see how it goes. But like, if you're selling your lower ticket thing for, say $100 as an example, and you riff it off at $30 a month for 5 months, then I could see that converting pretty damn well, especially if you're already ascending folks to, become 2K clients from the lower ticket, right? Because you're already doing the thing. So it's just like, would you want more volume into, the 30 a month so that you've got more opportunity and more volume of the people that could potentially be a good fit as a 2K client? Then fuck yes. Hit the go button on it and go do it.
I will say, if you're going to like prioritize the payment plans or the recurring, then kind of make them as close to the pay in full as you can, right? Because the natural thing that you're going to want to do is like, let's say you have your own product and you want to prioritize pay in fulls, then you're going to want to make the interest of the payment plan a little bit higher. Probably like, let's say you have $100 offer, then maybe double on a payment plan, because then everybody's going to gravitate towards the pay in full, right? Like, oh, I don't want to pay an extra $100 to get access to this thing if I can just pay $100 one time, versus like, hey, I could sign up on the payment plan, but it's going to come out to like very similar costs. So it will kind of change depending on, if you look at like what we just did, right, with like the no interest or discounted payment plan options, it's closer to the actual cost, like the zero interest payment plan we just ran. The reason we did that is because we want more recurring, right? So that's something to take into account, is if you want more payment plans, get closer to the actual pay in full, right? With the payment plan, because obviously the interest gets bigger. People are not going to take it as much. They'll be more inclined to take the payment plan. I mean, the pay in full, sorry. And the thing to think about too is like, for us specifically, is we stopped selling juice box because we just put it in a subscription, right? People can literally get juice box now if they're in cash curriculums, along with a slew of other trainings. But when we initially launched it, it was $50 for the launch, and then it just become a $100 evergreen offer.
Yep.
Yep. High ticket is $500 difference.
Yeah. My man Will, can you break down buyers groups a bit? Structure. Absolutely. So like Nate mentioned earlier, it's the same thing we did with Group Juice when we first launched it. So those of you that don't know, we initially ran an offer for Group Juice for 20 people and 20 people only. And we barely got 20 people into Group Juice, but that got them into a Facebook group, which, we didn't have like a fancy cover photo or no fancy shit anyway. But once they paid, then we put them inside of this Facebook group. And this is where we ran the 4-day workshop, right? Because again, Group Juice was not always the monster that it is now. It started with a 4-day workshop. So it was just 1, 2, 3, 4 trainings, and then Q&As off the back of them. But we ran all 4 days. So it was 4 days in a row. Those 4 trainings for the workshop, that was Group Juice, right? So we ran those. Everybody that bought was in this Facebook group. So then we took those lives and we did put them into a course format, which that's Group Juice 1.0, as most of you know it. And this is where we also still run the live support. So this is technically still a buyer's group. It's a support group. This is where we run the weekly lives, right? You guys can do the same thing off of anything, whether it's your own knowledge, whether it's another affiliate offer. You could even have in your own buyer's group if you were someone who was selling Group Juice, right? As an example, a lot of folks did this, and a lot of folks still are doing this. Whenever they buy anything from you, you could have like a buyer's group. Like, hey, you're in this group because you bought either Group Juice, you bought X product, you got X software, like literally. But you can go super specific too. But that's literally all the structure is. It's a Facebook group. Now, depending on what you're going to offer based on what they're buying, that's completely up to you. But like, look at what we use it for. We have a 24/7 Q&A thread. And then every Tuesday we run, the weekly calls, and we hang out and support everyone that needs our help. That's literally the structure behind it. It can be as simple or as complex based on the price in which you're getting paid. Yeah, Cass, quick thing, which that's kind of where we were. We had a fuck ton of offers. So now we've just basically simplified it to just 3. All right. And it might even be less than that, before we get too deep into 2024, who knows? But right now it's just 3. That way we can meet pretty much any bucket of our audience where they are, and they can still get some good shit.
Buyers groups are relatively simple too. Sorry, I had to go turn Frozen back on. Christmas break. They don't have to be as like polished, I will say, as like a regular group, where you're doing like all these settings and it's basically just an intimate setting where you can drop all your customers. Um, where I was doing, I was just looking at my buyers group that I had where I was, and Flip ran the same one, right? This is literally what we were doing when we were primary affiliates is we would sell an affiliate product and we would put all our buyers in there where we could build deeper relationships with them. We would run trainings, Zoom calls, drop Google Docs, etc. Um, where you can really prioritize those post-purchase relationships, which, those exact relationships for our business, for example, like transcended people's businesses. They've been with us since the beginning of Group Juice, since before Group Juice, right? And then it just becomes a really kick-ass melting pot of your own security. That's something we talk about a lot too, is like your own security outside of affiliate product X, right? Having your own intimate buyer setting is going to be huge. Right? It's something that a lot of people don't ever pull the trigger on because, like, they feel intimidated, or maybe it's an element of business that they don't want to do. But if you look at like a lot of really big creators or a lot of people who are having a lot of success online, they do this all the time, right? Like a good example of this is like the person who won the Secrets of Success affiliate contest, right? The one that won on Doug. What do you think he did to make a compelling angle about promoting it? Had his own buyers group, his own buyer support system, where he would answer questions about all of it, how to promote it, how to do XYZ, his take on it, right? That's his bonus stack, right? So like another thing to think about is like if you're promoting an affiliate product and you're like, hey, when you purchase this product from me, I'm going to give you my own support. I'm going to give you my own support system, right? It's going to change the experience for the customer, right? And then another benefit to that is you're actually going to A, build the relationships, but B, the people are probably going to be more comfortable asking you questions in a smaller setting than if they go into a group with 30,000 people and they're like, hey, how do I do XYZ? And then they're going to get roasted in the comments, right? And then it changes the entire experience for the person who buys the product from you.
Yep. It's a big one.
Yeah. Simplification's a big one. I think we started 2023 with like 10, 12.
Yeah. Did today's training like get y'all's gears going as far as like your brain? Like, did anything hit you like, oh fuck, I could actually do that? Oh, that's a great idea. Did you get hit with any ideas? Like, was it helpful? Trying to spark some fires in your brain is what we're trying to do.
Biggest thing, bake some form of recurring revenue into your business however you can, whether you're an affiliate, whether you have your own products. I think the cool thing is eventually when you guys end up having your own products, your own offer stacks, is you can be pretty elastic with the pricing, which are pretty fucking cool, which are pretty awesome to end up doing. Example I reference all the time is I think we had somebody jump into Group Juice on a $75 a month payment plan, which we've never done before. She turned around and made, dozen high ticket sales. Right? But when you have the recurring revenue streams, it just takes the pressure off, changes everything about how you operate. And you can melt it in so many different ways, softwares, funnels, affiliate products. If you look at like all of our affiliate products have longer payment plans than most, right? The industry standard 2 or 3 years ago was probably, 2 pay, 3 pay. Whereas like we stretch it out, 10 months. And the reason we do that is because we want the recurring revenue streams, right? Most affiliate products don't do that. It's more of like 1 or 2 or 3
pay. My man, James, he said, I'm so new. Everything's a revelation. That's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And Cass, I know you'll pass 5K quick. I already know it. I love it. But yeah, James, like we're open books, dude. Ask anybody who's been in here a while. Like we don't give 2 fucks what you ask. We're going to do our best to give you the answer that's needed. And all of them come from our own experiences. I think I'll share one of my biggest struggle with you guys is I've actually, and Nate too, I'm sure. I think I struggle with it more than Nate though, which is just me because I'm weird. But I've done so many cool things and so many things that a lot of folks would deem successful that I overlook them and just don't even talk about them. Right. So like I'm still challenging myself to talk about more of these things because they need to be talked about. If I'm being honest, like experiences that I've had, both good and bad, I need to talk about them more. Like the good shit, the bad shit, all of it. So I'm a work in progress, guys. Always. Yeah, yeah. Definitely benefits to both casts. Who doesn't like a pay in full? Like it's awesome to see, you know, $5,000 one time come in. It's like boom, boom, $5,000 right there, quick. But it's also nice to see multiple payments come in, multiple days every month too. Like if I'm being honest, I've probably got 7,000 screenshots of things that I've never shared just because it's like my own internal trophies.
We
Right.
have a whole Google Drive folder.
Yeah, like I could grab my phone right now and go to my screenshots. Matter of fact, I'll tell you how many screenshots I have, and just to give you guys a reference. So as of today, I have 5,771 screenshots, and most of them are just my own internal trophy that I don't even share. Right? Because like here's one. 2 days ago, 14 payments came through in one day. Right? I took a screenshot of it. Why? Because it's my own internal trophy. I've got a whole heap of shit when it comes to internal trophies, and I take them just to keep myself grounded of where I've come from. I don't share them publicly all the time. From time to time, I do, and I feel like shit when I do it. But if I didn't do it, people didn't know. They wouldn't know what's possible, right?
Hey, I still got to look up how-to videos on certain things. That's what people always ask me, like, how did you become a tech whiz? Because I watched a lot of videos, spent a lot of time. Docs are pretty straightforward though, my man. If you ever have any questions specifically, don't hesitate to drop them in the group. And this goes for anybody about anything, right? We're more than happy to give you guys our actual opinions or feedback, or I mean, that's literally what the group is for. To support you guys and help you do things. Uh, we're obviously we're pretty basic. We keep our business pretty basic. Yeah. Flip's just got like a wall of Stripe screenshots.
I'll fucking do it, dude. Don't tempt me.
Now, what you should do is you should you could replace the deer, put like his wrap him in screenshots.
All right, Cass.
Instead of fur, he's just got Stripe screenshots wrapped around his whole body.
Fuck, I'll just make a fucking quilt that's built for a king size bed, and just like each quilt patch will be a fucking screenshot.
Heck yeah, Cass, have a kick-ass day. You guys have any other questions about this? Anything? I'm more than happy to kind of riff on what this would look like in your own individual businesses. We know everybody in here is at a little bit of a different stage.
But it all pans out to be the same when it comes to deliverability, structure, and the sales and marketing behind it. Right? I think this hangs up a lot of folks. So yeah, if we don't want to keep y'all, but if y'all got questions, we want to make sure that we field those before we go. I see a handful of you, drop comments that it was helpful and it's got your brain going, which was the goal. Now the biggest thing is executing and not having to worry about it being messy. Merry Christmas, brother. You're very welcome, dude. Yep.
Merry Christmas.
Hell yeah, Dennis.
Biggest thing, play with it for a little bit longer.
That's what she said.
Yeah, never to me. I always finish first.
Sorry, guys.
The biggest thing, and this is something we kind of were hammering on a while back too, is like if you're gonna make it a point to play around with monthly recurring revenue streams, is like put some focus into it. Put some focus into it for the next 6 months. It'll change everything. And like if you remember, Flip mentioned in the beginning of this video, like, oh, I did it for 30 days and it didn't work, right? Like,
you want me to do
make
it
it
again?
a point to prioritize recurring revenue, and everything about your business and your life will change. Be more selective with the people you work with. Stress, time, like content gets better because you're not operating from a, hey, where am I getting this next sale? It changes fucking everything.
Let me do it again. Yeah, did it for 30 days and it didn't work. Did it for 30 days and it didn't work. Got a Switch game. What the fuck? I see people doing it all the time. Oh, yeah, well, I tried that for, 26 and a half hours and it just didn't work. So I figured I better try something different. And then they repeat that cycle for like ever, years. And they never get ahead. So like fucking commit to sticking with something longer term and just watch. Just watch how something changes. I think one of the coolest things for me is next March will be 4 years where I did not have to wake up and go clock in somewhere. 4 years. It doesn't even seem like it that long. And you know what? Today I'm like, I'm not as far as long as I should be. Every day. That's me. But then I'm like, well, Flip, don't be a bitch and forget where you come from. Reflect, pay attention. What can you do to be better? That's the game. That is the game. But if you guys don't have any more questions, we will let y'all go on about your Mondays. If you remember a question, bring it tomorrow. We're glad to answer it on the live training tomorrow. So I'll give you guys another 30 seconds or so, just in case there happens to be a lag before we cut out. Hell yeah, Shelly. Can see your name now too, by the way. Fuck yeah. I'm glad to hear that. Absolutely. Let's do some big shit. 2024 is going to be a catalyst for a lot of people. Hands down. But yeah, get out there, execute, have some fun. Hell yeah, Eddie, Lindley, y'all have a kick-ass day. We'll see you all tomorrow. And we appreciate you, all of you.
Do something your future self will thank you for. Awesome sauce. Yeah. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. EST. And yeah, look forward to wrapping up the year strong.
All right, guys. If y'all catch the replay, we appreciate you too. Catch y'all on the flip side. Love, peace, chicken grease.
Bye.